Welcome, colleagues. My name is Valentyn Rybalko, and today, within the framework of the pilot project Speaker of the Peace Live, we are talking about the IDPs from Luhansk and Donetsk region. They used to be 4 million previously, and most of them were forced to migrate to the non-occupied territory of Ukraine. According to the estimation of the experts, about 1.5 million former residents of those regions are considered to be IDPs, and we already about more than 1.5 years left since the beginning of this conflict. The IDPs start to gradually return to their former place of residence and to peace life. In October this year, the international observers record the return of more than 1,200 residents to Lugansk region, and the Kuchavsk residents number increased from 1,300 to 2,100 today. So where the IDPs are coming back, returning, where they live, whether they have jobs, and whether the infrastructure of those regions can receive those residents back. We are going to talk about that with the deputy of head of military civil administration of Lugansk, Olha Lishyk, and Valentyn Rybalko, director of the next Regional Employment Center. Can you hear us? Ms. Olga, you have the floor. May I remind you that we have some simultaneous translation, so please do not speak too fast and loud, please. Welcome to everybody. Indeed, the IDPs in Lugansk region today, we have 232,516 persons. This number continues to grow, and at this point of time, the majority of the IDPs are pensioners, the people with advanced years. We have 100,702 persons. Job placement is required by almost 3,000 people, and we did not take into consideration the children who do not need this kind of employment. And also we have a special category of disabled persons who we're trying to provide jobs to. As regards the people who lived on territories of the combat actions in Stanitsa, Lugansk, and Novodarsk, we can see that the people started to return to their former places of residence. Infrastructure is ruined, indeed, and owing to the fact that we received the governmental support, more than 500,000, and according to the support given by international organization and the governmental support, we have the possibility to continue to maintain different social infrastructure, etc. People themselves start to resolve their problems, and we try to support any person who needs that, like financial support, about 5,000 hryvnia for each. In parallel to that, we are working in order to restore infrastructure in the Lugansk region, and we cooperate with international organizations. This is UN Habitat program, in which all the districts and towns and cities participate, who are trying to reconstruct the residential buildings, to build new residential houses and provide jobs for the people. As for Stanitsa Lugansk, life is back, so to say, and those people who have the farms or some their own business, everything has been ruined or destroyed. But we have some grant support for opening the small size business in the livestock, animal breeding, or let's say some kind of the apiculture or whatever could help the people to survive. Even such an organization as FAO helps them, providing them with some kind of seeds, hens, goats, whatever people need in order to survive during this time. And then they can take care of their own farming business if they wish to do that. We work with the IDPs who wish to have some jobs. And out of 2,541, we have part of them have jobs. You know that many budgetary organizations moved in our region, including the law enforcement bodies who also work on their positions and who also belong to the category of IDPs. We have to support our people today, not only IDPs, but also the local residents, to help them to open their own business, to restore those enterprises which were destroyed. In Lugansk region, we have the general plan to restore our region. We calculate all the damage made, not only for the private residences, but also we take in consideration the damage incurred by the enterprises, private business, whatever requires to be rebuilt or to compensate for, either the public, the cost of the governmental funds, or some kind of a different assistance support to be given. Also, we have a different situation in Svatovo, in the opposite side of our region. A lot of population suffered as a result of those blasts and explosions. They destroyed completely the gas facilities, the motor roads, part of those were destroyed, and part of the buildings were destroyed, residential buildings. And again, the whole Ukraine tries to help us, and we do appreciate that effort. Also, we work on the program to restore those building structures which can be used as a housing for the IDPs. And the cost of the Agency of Sustainable Development of the Communities, we built the house for 40 families. Now we have 10 people. We have to equip it with some beds and some household equipment. And actually, those people live in Kremeny more than 1 year and a half, more than 18 months. We also face another problem which is not resolved now. The participants of the ATO who today defend their country. Many guys come from Lugansk, Kirovsk, and other cities and villages situated on the occupied territory. Now they are demobilized, and they have nothing to go. And this is the biggest and most acute problem with such guys. I would like to emphasize that in their private residences in the occupied territory, they cannot be put on the books in any other region, or Lugansk or Donetsk region, and get their private house. And this is a big problem. In reconstruction and construction is our major tasks today. Thank you, Olga, for this very informative and both in quantitative and qualitative aspects information. Now, Valentina, you have the floor. Good afternoon. The Donetsk region is a leader. If we're talking about the number of the registered IDPs, we have 195,000 persons, 8%, or each second person IDP comes from our region. And this fact actually made us to introduce new forms of work with such category of the citizens to strengthen the target-oriented approach in our dealing with this category of the people, and also information and awareness program regarding the job placements of such citizens. We actually, in September this year, we developed and approved by the decree of the head of the regional administration, the program for adaptation, for the IDPs for the years 2015-2016. This program is aimed at the gradual resolving of the major problems and reducing, decreasing the social tension among this category of citizens through the expansion of the social guarantees given to them. And we plan to take care of the measures like legal, medical, transportation, everyday care, and cultural nature. A very important aspect of integration of those citizens is provision of the rights to job, to labor. I would like to more specifically talk about this aspect of our work with this category of citizens of Ukraine. The regional job placement service in their efforts actually has these three strategic objectives. Number one, maximum awareness in the information level. The citizens in those issues from the very beginning. The job placement service provided jobs in each territorial branch of the Department of Social Protection for their employees in order to take care of the filling out their or polling, let's say, and providing different filling out of different forms for job placement, and then help the job placement service to take care of to find the jobs for those people. 12,000 citizens actually applied for the assistance to be given to them to find the jobs. Many people already approached the placement center. Others said that they plan to try to find jobs a bit later. They take care of their children or the aged persons, or they cannot work at this point of time because of the their health conditions, etc. Next strategic direction is providing the social partnership and provision of the psychological support for the reintegration of those people who need the reintegration to society, and those aspects which relate to the placement. Since September this year, we introduced in our region a monthly general regional consultation efforts or functions. We are talking about different functions, different format, the day of job placement, the fair of the vacancies, or let's say vacant jobs, etc., etc. Each third function, or over 300 of such measures or functions, were kind of provided in the places of the compact residence population, because not all those citizens have a chance and the chance to actually to move to the, or let's say to visit those job placement centers. And such functions cover today over 50,000 people, and 1,000 such measures and functions have been held. What are the results of those? Today, 7,500 people, from among the IDPs, addressed the centers of job placement. So almost 7,000 got the status of unemployed and the possibility to get or obtain some pecuniary assistance. We found jobs for 1,200 citizens in our region, and part of them through the development of the entrepreneurship. We actually provided the training on business planning, the development of business ideas, the production of the business plans, and the lump sum payment to the startup projects to help to organize entrepreneurship. 353 citizens of this category underwent this kind of vocational training and skills upgrading and got new specialization, which is actually for which there is demand on the labor market. As the other group of people have the temporary job, they were provided with some kind of the public temporary labor effort. In our region, we introduced in July this year. We already we became actually we now understand that 1 month is not enough, and we introduced the weekly measures in the format under one roof, under the same roof. And the objective of this measure to pool the efforts of different social partners and social groups, services of public and volunteer organizations in the single information space, and to provide a set of different services. And this information space was provided by the Job Placement Center, and today and now, providing different sets of services, not necessarily associated with the job placement services. On each Wednesday, in each job placement center, this measure is attended by the employees of the Social Protection Pension Foundation, and it centers on the issues of family and youth, etc., etc. They can provide the help for the health improvement of children, let's say termination of the labor relations with those employers who did not re-register on the controlled by the government of Ukraine territories, volunteer organizations, for example, where they can get the volunteer assistance, some public or NGO organization, they represent of pro-UN and other social partners. And here we can see a big benefit, we are talking about the issues of increasing the number of those who have found the jobs and try to help resolve different problems for this category of citizens. We continue this effort, and every Wednesday such measures and functions are carried out in each job placement center. What other forms we are going to make use of? I'm talking about cooperation with international projects in our region. We have the UN pro-UN program to create new jobs on the conditions of co-financing, and we polled the employers in 75 enterprises of our region voiced their consent to participate in this project, and 112 enterprises have been recognized as the winners within the framework of this project. And they approved the creation of the 120 plus jobs. The cooperation with the centers for job placements deals with the creating new jobs. 13 jobs were created as a result of our cooperation with Pro-UN project. And we also take care of other selection, training, skills upgrading, advanced training, retraining, etc. Also, we are actively involved in the efforts to contribute to or to promote the development of entrepreneurship and job placement for this category of citizens. We take care of training in the issues related to business planning. And now we have the selection for the mini grants. What problems we face in job placements for this category of citizens? First of all, we have the limited number of the jobs available. For example, non-correspondence, so you were talking about vocational professional level, or what is in demand for different employers on this territory, or lack of the real decision on part of the IDPs, how long they're going to stay in this territory, or whether they're going to return to their previous place of residence, etc., etc. Insufficient motivation is sometimes there is no intention to be retrained, to get another profession, or let's say they're not sure that that training is really necessary to them because they do not know whether they're going to live further on. In order to resolve those problematic issues, we actually some specific efforts are dedicated to those issues in the job placement centers. I'm sorry, but we have really not much time, and there are many those willing to ask you questions. So I'll start that. My question to both of you: are there any data about the number of the IDPs who return from the government-controlled territory of Ukraine back to the occupied territories in Luhansk and Donetsk region.
We don't have such data because we don't have statistics. We don't know how many people return, and people in controlled territories, they can stay here and then they go home in occupied territories, and very difficult to have such data. But some people return. The ceasefire, and people have their homes there. And Valentina, and we don't have such statistics, but some people go in the to the occupied territories because they have the opportunity to stay in their houses and they don't spend much money and don't decide their household issues here. Dear colleagues, please introduce yourself before asking questions. Good day, Tatiana Garkova, and I have a question to Olga, and my question is, and we saw the picture before military actions and statistics on unemployment in Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast, and what are these figures now? Thank you. As to the region, if not including IDPs, the statistics is the same. But maybe the situation worsened because in the territory of Lugansk Oblast, due to insecurity in the energy supply, and because many enterprises stopped their work, and we know that the Lysychansk plant also fired its employees, and enterprises in the region, they fire people. And these enterprises, they work in different schedules, so people don't want to be retrained. They have some employment, they have some profession, and they don't ready to be qualified in some other professions. It's very difficult psychologically to change profession. But if peace continues, and I hope that large enterprises start their work soon, and it will be easier for people to restore their normal life. Now I would like to add that the most objective and clear information as to the state of employment in the region is done by the household estimate. As to the results, the level of unemployment compared with last year is increased about 4%, and last year it was 10%. Now it is 14% as to unemployment, and as to the level of employment, it is 7% less. It was 58, now it is 51. So this is the state of employment and unemployment in the region. Thank you, Valentina. Dear colleagues, do you have some questions or comments? Good day. Sergei Malerchuk, Ukrainian Media Center, and I have a question to both speakers. You mentioned the figure 232,000, and what are the criteria, the algorithm of your calculations? And what about the last tendencies? That some people go back to their homes, and how is it going to how it is going to influence the situation? And you mentioned, Olga and Valentina, you mentioned that international organizations are involved that provide, as I know, monetary assistance, and Maybe there's some duplication. For example, some people are provided with help from Ukrainian side and from international organizations, and other people don't have any help because they are not registered, but they need this help. So do you have some monitoring? Thank you for your question. The monitoring is conducted due to the provisions 509, and people can go back, and the department in the region, they are registered in this department as IDPs. Some people don't want to register. That's why we can't say what is the definite number of these people. But there are some claims from people who want to be registered. And according to the law, as to IDPs, this law envisages such provisions how to register these people. And this is done through the centers of social assistance to this category of people. And about the duplication of Ukrainian and international help. Ukrainian help that is envisaged, it is provided to all IDPs. There's no exclusion. And if a person in his claim says that he wants to get compensation for communal services, so they can provide this help to them according to the law. And some people refuse this compensation because we know that people, they registered here and then they go home and get pensions there. So in Luhansk Oblast, the number of households who claimed the help from 233,000 people. There's 43,000 to those people who get communal services help. As to the international help, they have their own monitoring missions. They have their own hotlines, and there's cooperation and coordination among international organizations. They gather every 2 weeks and they distribute the regions among themselves in order not to duplicate the effort. We cooperate with them, international organizations. They can't duplicate their activities, and they can't replace our Ukrainian help. It's just international help. And I would like to join this answer, and we have the same situation in our region. The statistics, the registration of those who wanted to be registered as IDP. This is the data of Department of Social Services, but the main part of this people, they don't want to be registered in order to have benefits for the communal services, and that's why I can't say what is the definite number and what is the percentage, 30 to 40%, but I'm convinced that the number of IDPs is much higher than that is registered officially. Thank you very much, and time is up, so we are going to continue Skype connection with you the next time. Thank you. Colleagues, the briefing is over, and the briefing of Colonel Matvey